some mock drafts came out, and I want to talk about the prospects they had the Detroit Lions selecting. Very interesting towards our football team. We're going to get into what can happen for the Lions to get a little bit better during the bye week. The Lions signed a kicker. We're going to get into him, as well as should the Lions trade for a coach. An article talked about it. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a sound, fun, and smart idea to take a pot of boiling water and dump it all over your face, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, you can feel like you get burnt. Also, take that like button with you and let that bad boy get boiled. Let's get into today's Lions news and rumors. We signed a kicker, and we just keep going through kickers like I've never seen before. But this is the new one that we got this week. We'll see if we get one next week and the following week. His name is Sam Fickens, 29 years old, a little bit tall, 6'1". He's been on multiple teams here, folks. Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers, New York Jets, Tennessee Titans, and our beloved Detroit Lions. What does he bring to the kicking game? Well, career stats here, he's 72.9 field goal percentage, 49 for 56 on extra points, long of 54, overall 154 points, bringing to the Lions in the kicking game. What does it mean for our team? Well, it just means this week we got a kicker. Will we have him next week? I don't know. Does it really matter at the end of the day? Well, we don't use kickers, so right now it's looking like it doesn't really matter. But he is a signing. We'll see if we actually utilize his services at some point. Don't really know. But you know, I do know. I think we can get to 300 likes in this video. With your help, it can happen. If you smash that like button, it pushes the video out there. It helps the algorithm out, and it helps me out because Chat Sports are always bugging me on that. Now, an interesting article came out. The Lions should trade for a coach. Would you like to know why? Well, let's get into it. The article here is that the Detroit Lions should trade for a defensive mind in Brian Flores. This one came out of All Lions and FanNation.com, that the Lions should go ahead and trade a couple draft picks to acquire his services. Now, you may know who Brian Flores is due to the NFL lawsuit and the race claim for the Miami Dolphins as he was fired. Now, I'm not going to get into the political stuff or any of that. You know, like I let the courts and all that deal with it. I don't really get into that. I get into, would he help out the Detroit Lions as a defensive mind? Well, let's get into his career a little bit here. New England Patriots, that's where he started as pro scout, as a scout, helping acquire talent for their football team. He eventually became a safeties coach for the Patriots, linebackers coach, and he wasn't given the title of defensive coordinator, but he was given play calling duties during his tenure as the New England Patriots. Now you say New England Patriots, hell no, we don't want a Patriots coach. I'm just giving you his status. And he was obviously the head coach for the Miami Dolphins. Their actually team was performing well as he was bringing a more defensive mind to that football team. Now he was fired, and that's where the lawsuit came. And he was acquired by Mike Tomlin for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a senior defensive assistant and linebackers coach. Now, I think he actually is a very good defensive mind. I think he's a guy that could definitely help the Lions out if that is a route they wanted to go to at some point. But I'm not going to trade for him. No, I'm sure the offseason at some point will come around, and maybe we can look for him potentially if they wanted to upgrade the defensive coordinator position. I really don't think, even if we were to get him right now, he's going to help the defense out. I think the defense has a lot of problems, and coaching is just a part of it. In all honesty, I don't think it's going to get fixed. I think we just roll with AG until the wheels fall off. and promote within if they wanted to remove him this year as a defensive coordinator. I don't think trading for anyone right now is going to do anything to help the Lions out on defense. I truly don't believe so. I honestly don't. If I did, I would say, hey, go for it. I just don't believe it is going to work. But you want to know it can work is going to chatsports.com/LionsBet. Put in the promo code Lions125 and you get a 125% deposit bonus. It's all about making a little bit of money cash. There ain't no wrong with making some cash. Now, look, Lions are on a bye week, and that's a good thing because we don't need to be betting on the Lions to win games, and it's a less of a headache for us. But you can bet on other games, and that's what it's all about. We're going to get into the draft here because some articles came out about some prospects. So let me know in the comment section, should the Detroit Lions primarily draft defensive players? Why for yes and for no? That's going to be the pinned comment for this video. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people's going to say yes to this one. Absolutely going to say yes. But let's go ahead and talk about the first player that the Lions were given in a mock draft. And we're going to go with Will Anderson here. That is who they have the Detroit Lions selecting with the very first pick that they have. And it's pick number 3. So that's the idea that obviously quarterbacks go first. Folks, if you don't know who Will Anderson is, he is the best defensive prospect in this year's draft. By far, this guy is a bona fide stud and a certified G. 6'4", 243. If he was to be drafted last year, he would be the first pick of the draft. No doubt about it. You look at his stats this year right now, he has 13 solo tackles, 5 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 1 interception. This man out of Alabama is a guy, he will rip your freaking head off. He's an absolute monster on the defensive line. And if the Lions were to go ahead and select him, I tell you what, the Detroit Lions defensive line would be hella scary, folks. It would be hell of scary because you're talking about Eden Hutchinson, Will Anderson, manning the edges. It's going to help out A. Hutchinson by having Will Anderson, by the way. And I'm sure they're going to upgrade at some point the interior of the defensive line. But immediately the defensive line is better. Will Anderson's a surefire. He's surefire. This guy is a lock. He is one of the best defensive edge prospects to come out in a long time. We're talking about a guy who is going to be a J.J. Watt type of player. He's that type of prospect. So if the Lions were to go to the defensive route, and if Lions are sitting at 3 and quarterbacks are gone, I think you have no choice but to take Will Anderson. Absolutely got to take him. You know, there's a debate on taking the quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But in this mock draft, the quarterback's gone. Well, the first 2. I don't think you would take a quarterback at 3 if the first 2 are gone. I think you go Will Anderson. And there's a case to be made. Take Will Anderson if you're even at 2 or 1. Absolutely is a case to be made if you're not wanting to go quarterback. If you want to go quarterback, totally get it. I get both sides. But Will Anderson is a freaking stud. I would be having no problem at all if the Lions got him. I would be exuberant getting him. But what about the next prospect for the Detroit Lions they got? At 14, they have the Detroit Lions taking another defensive player here. Really interesting selection here. Joey Porter Jr., 22 years old, 6'2" cornerback. Height, physical. This guy's fast at a 4.47. And when we're talking about Joey Porter here, the guy brings a lot of physicality. He's a bona fide cornerback number 1. You wouldn't need to have a cornerback number 1, obviously, with Jeffrey Okudah, but he is that type of player. He is an outside corner that would really solidify the Lions' back end on defense, and I would have zero problem with the Lions going this route. If you look at his stats so far this year. He's got 13 solo tackles, 7 pass defense out of Penn State. It would be a good draft pick for the Detroit Lions if they wanted to go corner route. There's a lot of good corners in this year's draft, and I think the Lions are lucky here because this is a really solid defensive draft, a solid cornerback draft, and the Lions do need help at the corner position, clearly. Now, if you were to have Porter, Okudah, Jerry Jacobs, that's a damn good secondary right there from the corner perspective. And I think this mock draft would be solid from Lions Nation. I think it'd absolutely be solid. I mean, I have no problem going that route if that's the route they want to decide. It would help out the defense immensely. Absolutely would. Now let's talk about what the Lions can do defensively to get better in this bye week. And this one's clear and simple, folks. The health. Looks like Jerry Jacobs probably coming back and Joshua Pascal. It's going to be a boost for the Lions defense, and we're going to need this boost going against a Dallas Cowboys team that Dak Prescott probably coming into, Ezekiel Elliott, who can run the football, and we can't stop the run. So Jerry Jacobs helping out in the corner, and then having Joshua Pascal, who is good at stopping the run, get in there and help out this defensive line. I think it's an absolute long shot. I still think the Detroit Lions probably lose this game. They a very physical team on defense. Dallas Cowboys, you look at them, but you can't argue with getting help back from health. And I want to see Joshua Pascal play. I want to see this guy play. We invested a second-round pick in him. I want to see what he can do. He'll probably be on a snap count because he's coming back from injury. I'm fine with that. But I want to see him on the field because we need to have these draft picks on the field. It's going to help the team out. Still, it's going to be difficult. Can't wait to see Jerry Jacobs out there to help this Lions get better from a health perspective. In the upcoming, folks, look, we got the One Pride podcast every single Thursday. Y'all know that. It's going to be a fun show. And while I was going crazy there and clicking, it's going to be a fun show. So on Thursday at 4 p.m., videos dropping every single day. With that said, folks, adios.